Joe Biden decided to give a rare television interview, and it was really something. Let's take a listen.
A cognitive
No,
test.
I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
Yikes. Let me just say, I think his campaign strategy of keeping him mostly out of the public eye has been a wise one, as demonstrated by this. But, what is happening here? And there's something, I feel like every time he talks to a black person, too, I think back to the Charlemagne the God interview, too. It's so cringeworthy. He does this whole, come on, man, and, he's trying to be cool and down, and then it goes completely astray. He asks him if he's a junkie and if he's taken a drug test. What are you doing?
No, it's so bad, and you can tell that his campaign prepped him extra hard for it, because he stops himself halfway through it, and he's like, well, I probably shouldn't go there. I'm not going to say it. So he has that in his head. But that was, it reminds me of a drunk Real Housewife. The way he's just he's just stumbling through this incoherent string of words, and it's actually pretty unfortunate, because this man is probably going to be the president of the United States, and he can't make his way through a question. I am so forward-looking to his debate with Donald Trump.
Oh my God. No. And look, Democrats have been going crazy about Trump and the cognitive test, which he has done himself no favors with, and for some reason keeps bringing up and digging the hole. He's very proud. He's very proud about this test, right? And so you would think that Biden would be prepared to handle just a basic question. All you have to say is no, I'm tested all the time. American people can judge for themselves.
Yes.
Period.
Yes, he's a lifelong politician.
Right. And we saw this during the Democratic primary too. He used to be really good on the trail.
Yes.
He used to be really good in that debate versus Paul Ryan. Now, whenever he gets questioned hard at all, he kind of freaks out. Remember that there was that moment on the trail where he's like, why, and got in the guy's face. The look fat moment where a voter challenged him, and he got really upset about that and challenged the guy to a push-up contest. There was, just every time Charlemagne the God interview, he freaks out as well. He has no ability to take anything. This was not even that tough of a question. Anything resembling a challenging question, he kind of melts down on. Does not bode well for, they are going to have debates. He is going to have to face President Trump on the stage. Now, look, Trump has been so bad on so many levels that, I think it would be very hard for him to win at this point, which makes it even sort of more pathetic. This is the guy you're losing to?
This is the guy. Also, you missed one of his greatest hits, by the way, the lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Oh, yes, that was one of my faves.
But no, it's absolutely painful, and you make a great point that he seems to do this anytime that he gets tough questioning. And I think back, actually, to his campaign announcement speech, which was a fantastic speech. It was he had his sleeves rolled up. He was doing this working class Joe thing.
It's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, and he was pulling it off. And he doesn't always pull it off, but he was pulling it off. That was 18 months ago, maybe not even 18 months ago. And so I think what we're seeing is something happening in real time before our eyes that is unfortunate. And it's, Joe Biden, he had potential sort of as a candidate, and now he's struggling to literally get through a sentence. And I think people need to start saying that aloud. That's something the corporate media needs to start saying aloud, because everybody can see it. It is obvious.
Well, and Joe Rogan made some comments in this regard. And to your point, look, the media is not afraid of, psychoanalyzing Donald Trump.
No.
So, you have to be either consistent in saying this is hands off and people can judge for themselves, or you have to apply the same standard. But Joe Rogan made some new comments about exactly these same concerns. Let's take a listen.
I believe there's an also large group of people that are very uncomfortable with a man who seems to be mentally compromised winning the election and doing so by hiding. I mean, the guy's never he was just at another thing the other day and he forgot where he was.
And so the problem is, too, that it's not just, is he kind of fading as he's getting older, but also when you're not doing a lot, these things take practice. Like, if you're not out there fielding questions, obviously you can't be out there interacting with voters, you get really rusty. Even Obama, who is, whatever you think of him, he is certainly an incredible politician, incredibly skilled. He got kind of rusty around that first debate with Mitt Romney because he hadn't been fielding those questions. He hadn't been in that format. He kind of took it for granted. And he got knocked a bit by Romney, knocked up a bit in that debate. And I think that part of Biden's problem is just not being out there. He is not really in fighting form to be able to make the most of his mental capabilities that he has.
Well, I think that's a great point, and that is totally true. There's something about the rhythm of the campaign life, which is rigorous. I mean, you're in front of thousands of people all of the time. You're meeting thousands of people all of the time. So your mental acuity is being tested and challenged and sharpened every single hour of every single day. I think that's absolutely true, but I go back to what you said earlier about how he can't even answer this basic question about the cognitive test in a way that a politician, a lifelong politician like Joe Biden should be able to. And he's a gaffe machine throughout his career, but this is on another level. So why can't you just give this canned 10-second answer that you're prepped for over and over again? As you mentioned, just saying the American people can decide, I'm tested all the time, I think I'm in perfectly good mental health. Why can't he even do that? I think that's the real concern.
Yeah, and it's a sad state of affairs that neither of these individuals that we have to choose from is particularly impressive in any way. And, making all kinds of mistakes. We're supposed to be really impressed that they passed a cognitive test. Way to go, guys. That's where we are.
I am kind of impressed, actually.
But again, I think this interview once again validates that their best strategy is just to keep him as low-key as possible.
Basement strategy.
Keep him in the basement as much as absolutely possible. And look, voting starts really soon, right? This election is not in November. It starts really soon. It is a much different timeline than what we've ever seen before. And so the longer that he can kind of, stay hidden, stay hanging out, I think the better ultimately it is going to be for him. And we will have more Rising for you after this.